Hey guys, John Hanna here, coming at you from London. So, first off, I'd like to refute my opponent's arguments, and as they were false and unsound logic. Um, my topic is not about English versus a second language. My opponent was always arguing that English is we have to have English up top. It's not between English versus Spanish, English versus German. This is simply about adding a secondary language elective to the current federal curriculum in primary schools. Okay, it's not a battle between like English is better than this. So I can ignore all those arguments that you provide for that. I can also ignore the relevant solutions you provide for making English a national language. This isn't about what's a national language. We're not talking about what the state should have as a national language. We're talking about what the state should teach. And I think they should teach multiple languages. So any solution provided by Anna is just a nationalistic, patriotic policy and is extremely irrelevant. I'd also like to refute the fact that she said that it's a bad choice to teach second language. I've provided many stats that prove the extremely beneficial results coming from secondary language studies. To deny that is just simply ignorant. It helps you with math, English, critical thinking. Teaching a second language allows you to think differently. So I don't know how that's a bad choice to teach it. Also, the reasoning that it's bad, she says that it'll create havoc among the states and a lowered sense of being. This logic is just clouded with hysteria and paranoia. These hyperbolistic examples of like havoc among states. What you think because we're teaching Spanish to California students that Arizona people are going to revolt and there's going to be chaos, there's going to be havoc? I don't think so. No, we're just teaching. In fact, it would probably create more peace. There would be more cultural awareness and more cultural tolerance. So a lowered sense of being. I didn't know when English became the defining character for what it meant to be a human being. English doesn't define being. Any language you can speak and still be a proper human being. So we're just isolating ourselves and putting ourselves at a higher standard just because we speak English. What doctrine states that? Where did that become fact? That brings me to my next point. This promotion of isolationism. By denying the right to learn secondary languages and saying that it's got to be English, only English, we're promoting isolationism that is similar to North Korean communist doctrine. They're a very isolated country, and this does not work out for them. She says that they, which I believe means foreigners, came here to the United States, so they have to deal with our standards. So they came here, so they have to learn English. It's their fault. I agree that they should learn English. It's very essential to living in the United States. But does that mean they can't learn? Does that mean our students can't learn another foreign language? Why do we have to conform to just English? If we do that, we're isolating ourselves from the rest of the international community, and we're also sending the message that the international community has to has to conform to our standards. Since when did we become number one? How are we better than any other state just based on our language? This is bad for business, trade. This is bad for diplomacy. We can't create business with people we can't speak to. We can't create peace and diplomacy between countries that we don't even respect enough to speak their language. It's ludicrous. And also, she says that the immigrants, they came here to the U.S. They came here and it's because of English. Like they came here because of English. And that's a gross overgeneralization of false causation. They came here for security, they came here for freedom, liberty, and most of all, they came here for opportunity. Not because of English. They wanted the opportunity to prosper. So I would like to refute that argument as well. That brings me to the next point. Elementary school, she says they're not for change. Elementary schools are for core values. I agree that they're for core values, absolutely. But elementary schools are for change. School is for change. They say to change is to grow. So with my Reform Act, we will be enriching the minds of children and young adults all across America. There would be no more simplistic black and white mindset of just one language, one way. We set that ideology if we do that. But instead, we'd be changing the way our youth thinks. We'd be changing the way our children learn and grow by allowing them to see their world in a different perspective, a different worldview, in a different language, and with an open mind. That's key. That's key important. And it's the same ideology behind all the renowned American universities that the world so proudly looks at us for. And so this change, it doesn't diminish core values. It strengthens them. It strengthens them, especially in critical thinking, English, and math. I've already provided the stats for that. It's been proven. They back it up. I've said it before. I can't make my point any more clear. And she also says that, you know, these foreign languages are already implemented in some middle schools and high schools, but it's not all. It's not all of them. It's not a federal mandate. And as provided in my stats, it's actually easier to learn a language the younger you are. So around age 5, that's when you start to absorb language. That's when you really bring it in. You're like a sponge, and you learn everything super fast. So if we start teaching at a younger age the foreign language, we're allowing our kids to become more intelligent at a faster rate. They'll be able to think, read, and write in multiple different ways. That's a lot of perspective. That's a lot of critical thinking, and that would only benefit us. Only benefit us. It's proven success. And in closing, my opponent failed to refute any overwhelming evidence and the statistics that supported the Reform Act. Her logic was based on speculation and infested with fear, and the solutions proposed were irrelevant to my topic. So, based on my evidence, I move that we should educate our youth in secondary languages. It is the right thing to do, statistically, morally, and justly.